How do they do podcasts? They casually get into it, right?
Yes.
Is that how they do it?
Yes.
I want to thank the camera lady, Erica. She's been visiting us for a while now. For some reason, she's not leaving. So
I'm not sure when she'll be gone, but.
Oh well. But she's helping us film Mid2HighKey today. So yeah, this was a YouTube channel, right? Well,
back in the day.
Well, technically it is still.
It's still there if you want to check out some of the good quality content we had. It wasn't too it was iPhone quality mainly.
Because it was filmed on iPhones.
So they're like somewhat quality, somewhat not. But yeah, there's some good stuff on there.
I remember when we had to actually use the iPhone cameras or the iPhone microphones to record better audio. Because we actually had microphones, but iPhone is just accelerated in technology now that was kind of our backup audio.
We had 4 different audio tracks.
Because I'm a stickler for audio.
Yeah.
Because I get really scared because when we do any kind of footage or anything and the audio is bad, I remember someone once said that we're talking to that video with bad audio is just like surveillance.
Yeah.
And that's boring as shit.
Yeah.
So we don't do that. But anyway, this is the first podcast.
First Mid2HighKey Podcast. That's the name we're going
for the Ishoni company.
Yes.
And it's a way for us to kind of stay,
active.
Active.
Stay open.
Transparent.
Sure.
With you guys, because as many of you guys know, it is called the Ishoni company, which means, I think in a long sentence, it's a way for us to remember that we want to be like a full-fledged, multifaceted company that does several different things. Because eventually we do want to get into music labeling and distribution along with apparel and stuff. Mm-hmm. So we got a lot of things that we want to do. Yeah.
And so just to be open for the first podcast, it's not like a specific genre of a podcast, I guess. We're kind of going to touch on everything and anything, pretty much anything that we feel like talking about, because we're obviously into many different things. We're not just focused on one aspect of anything, so be prepared for everything.
Though that's just in regards to our interests. In terms of operations, we actually
that was just about the podcast.
Yeah, in terms of what we do for a company, we actually, I don't know if you knew, but we actually just passed our month for being a general partnership with the Ishoni company. So congratulations to us. Cheers.
Sure.
And particularly, we started the Esports portion of our company, which I like to think is the energy for our company, because we started out as digital
content company
for entrepreneurs, and there's a CEO or CLO, ex-CLO that we're working with. It's funny because I play that team in tennis on Saturday. Yeah.
You have to win.
Yeah, so our first big client we met when we were doing the digital content, we met the guy through tennis, and they have that cliche where tennis and golf are like the business sports. It really is. You go out, if you have any of those sports under your belt, you fucking utilize that shit, because
everyone we've ever met playing tennis is rich.
Mm-hmm.
One guy that's on our team has taken me under his wing, and he is a ex-IT head of IT at Verizon Wireless, the fucking cell phone company. So yeah,
and he fucking loves him. And when we say, and here's the thing too, I don't know, it's funny because obviously we don't come from big money.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you this, guys, there's this terminology where it's you're lower class, middle class, and higher class. The margin between the middle and high is fucking huge.
Yeah.
The people who are up there, they have money. Mm-hmm. They have money, they have cars, they have experience, they have connections. Connections is the biggest thing. And those guys that are up there have money to spend. Mm-hmm. And they want to spend it sometimes. White people get money, don't spend it, all that. But yeah, if you guys do any of those sports, use that shit for connections and talk about whatever it is that you're interested in, because that's kind of how we kind of got started with our first part of the company.
And it's definitely a good way to stay active and frustrate yourself. But stay active more importantly.
Yeah, because when we were doing it, when we were doing it was called Ishoni Solutions. And when we were doing it, we were like, okay, we're both pretty decent in video content. We're pretty good with Premiere and the Adobe Suite. And we're like, well, there's older people who have never used it.
They don't even know what that is.
Yeah, they didn't even fuck with that shit. So we were like, hey, if you want to be, I had this idea that it was like, older people wanted to be, you want to like share your experiences. You want to like share the shit you do. So I was like, how about we turn you into some sort of quote unquote celebrity in your field for your target audience, and we'll make content for you. And in hindsight, it was a good idea. I think it still is a good idea.
Yeah, it's just, it's hard to work with people in the kind of people we're trying to work with, and in Texas of all places.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So when we first started out, we were trying to reach out to a lot of general contractors.
Roofing people and tiling.
And it's so funny because when you call them, you know how they have call 1 for sales, call 2 for whatever. Some of them people will have like a call, press 3 if you are an SEO or a website designer or something like that, and never call back here again. Like, these guys do not like people trying to do their jobs like they're trying to do their jobs.
They literally think that they're like perfect, like that they can't grow anymore. They're not trying to grow. They spend like $0 marketing dollars, literally, and they just stay the same.
Yeah.
Like, they probably make like $1 million a year, and then they're content with that, and they don't try to grow. They don't try to do anything else. Which, I mean, if you only have 2 employees and your budget for everything else is like $100,000, then, you know, the 2 of you are splitting $900K, and I guess, you know, you're
done.
Yeah,
I guess you're done. So and then the one SLO or XCLO person that we got through tennis, we're working with her for a while. We were charging her about $1,000 a month, and we were doing video stuff. We're running her Facebook and everything, and we were actually doing really well. We figured out how to manipulate Facebook ads very well, along with other like online stuff like Google Ads and things like that. And we were and Don will tell you, we're getting burnt out just working with that one client.
Yeah, I definitely was, because I would just literally, I'd get up and I would go to my desk, because I worked from home just for her, and I would just look at her face for like a whole week at a time, and no, I just couldn't do it anymore.
And she's a great lady, and if she ever watches this, you know, but it was just exhausting. It was exhausting because we're trying to figure out new ways to keep her relevant in her field, and her particular field was very particular. She had a very small target audience. Yeah,
it's a hard thing to hire someone like us to come in and expect results right away, especially because it wasn't like her company was established. It was literally brand new, and you can't expect to build an online presence overnight, you know. And I think that was kind of our worry from the very start. You know, we went and met with her a couple of different times, put together a marketing plan. And her husband, the guy we met from tennis, was actually super eager about, you know, getting her on board and getting started with this. And she was the one that was a little reluctant. We were definitely warned by him that she was impatient. So that was our worry from the beginning, that she would get impatient and she would, you know, want to go away from us. And I guess ultimately that's kind of what happened.
Yeah, and you know, so we were doing that for like, what, 4 months or something like that?
We started in May.
Yeah.
Up until August.
Yeah.
So.
And it's the thing is like, I don't know what your guys' like religious beliefs or whatever, but shit kind of like just started to get aligned for us. Because literally, I think maybe a week or 2 before we lost that client, Don and I were talking about doing the LAN event for the local community here in the DFW area, and how there is not really a good LAN for, you know, competitive gaming. So we were like, you know, we can do this. You know, we have to get the venue, we have to get some notoriety, we have to get the equipment, sponsors, and then we can make it happen. So we wanted to make that happen. And when we started thinking about that, that's when the client was like, hey, I kind of want to pull out. So I was like, it's so funny because the level of roller coaster of emotions for when we first got that client was high. Like me and Don were fucking hyped.
Yeah.
Like we were like, man, we got this client, we're gonna be making some money. Don has a job now. Don's technically been self-employed for that whole time.
Yeah.
He didn't have like a traditional job, so we're doing that. And then as soon as we kind of figure out what we wanted to do next, that's when she pulled. So it kind of just worked out in that sense. So it wasn't like we had it's not like we didn't have something to look forward to. And it was definitely a dark period for us because we weren't, like, Don didn't have his source of income anymore and we lost that client. So we're kind of like, fuck, like, what are we going to do like now? So, but now, as you guys know, and a lot of people are watching this, now we're doing, IES 2019. And for those who don't know what IES is, it means Ishoni Electronic Sports, which is our electronic sports division for
The Ishoni
company. So yeah, I think we definitely know what we want to do now, and we're definitely excited about it. But if you guys are here, I guess you guys want to hear about the Ishoni, the event itself. And then we'll talk about more lighthearted stuff.
Yeah, more podcast talk.
Yeah. So we're going to get this stuff out of the way. So Ishoni Electronic Sports 2019, IES 2019 will be held next year. The reason why the venue isn't secured yet is because we did have a venue picked out and we did have a date picked out, but more options started to come to us. So we didn't want to settle down on one spot from the jump.
So kind of like from in the beginning, we were obviously super excited about putting it together. So we kind of got, I don't want to say tunnel vision, but kind of tunnel visioned at the same time on this one venue. We went, looked at it. They had the weekend that we wanted available. It was all like
great price.
Yeah, great price, meant to be. But then, we got to thinking, got to talking to some people, and we're like, well, maybe we should take a step back, evaluate our different kind of options, and kind of, not necessarily do the first thing that comes, but do the best thing that comes.
Yeah, and if you guys know anything about running events, you know that you don't want to have to pay for everything out of pocket. It should be the fact that you are bringing everything together brings and attracts people to come and support your event. So at first we were like, okay, let's pull everything out of pocket. I was approved for whatever amount of loan to do the event. So if I wanted to, I can do the event like in the middle of January right now. Like I can go and I can rent all the PS4s, I can rent all the monitors, I can lock in the venue, and we can do it. But then it would just kind of be rushed. And I don't know if you guys know about the LAN events that are up north. I'm not going to name any names and stuff. But the way that I've seen those LAN events presented is just very amateurish. I understand it's an amateur LAN, but what we want to do is we want to be able to provide you guys with the most surreal, most likable experience that we can do for you guys to the best of our ability, and that is going to have to be including sponsors. And so we're going to be looking for, like, someone gave us a really good tip to like get cities involved. So chambers, cities to sponsor the event so that our event's more, quote unquote official, and so that more sponsors will be likely to come and support the event. And if we can do all that and still hire up our budget behind our back, you guys are going to get one of the best LANs experiences ever. With that being said, though, we still have that kind of tunnel vision where we definitely want the event to happen early next year. So we're not going to give these venues like forever to get back at us. If they don't get back at us, we're going to go with our original plan. We're going to secure the place that we're looking at, and we're going to give you guys a solid date. And that's going to happen very soon. If not the end of October, beginning of November, where that's going to be secured. And I know you guys have to do accommodations. You have to travel. You have to figure all that stuff out. Guys, we just want to make sure that you guys have the best experience possible. So we want to make sure that we do everything in our abilities so that you aren't coming down just to play and leave. We want you guys to play, have a good time, meet people, get presented with a check, and then bounce. So
right.
So that's kind of where we're at.
And we want to kind of turn it into a staple in the area, something that people can look forward to every year, even a couple times a year. So we're just really fine tuning everything right now. Really, the only thing we're waiting on is a venue. Like you were saying, everything else we have pretty much figured out. Other than the one big thing, but other than that, we're getting it all together. It's definitely, regardless, it's going to take place by February, if not February, then the beginning of March.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
It's not one of these. We're not promises that we can't fulfill, like some things that we've been seeing.
And that's the other things. A lot of places are they don't give a fuck. Like, they're just gonna be like, yeah, we're gonna do this thing, do your registration, and it's gonna happen. If it doesn't happen, we have your money back. The thing is that I don't feel comfortable giving you guys a solid date if the shit's not secure.
Right.
And I want to make sure that this moment that the venue is secure and we have our good sponsors behind us, then we'll present you guys a date, and we'll make sure that all of you guys have the information you need. But for now, we're just trying to build a brand. We're doing a lot of shit behind the scenes. We've gotten some streamers. So Topaz and Rudanamus, if you guys are watching this, thank you guys for coming aboard. And if you guys are streamers or you guys are content creators and want to be a part of the family, let us know. We're down to earth, as you can tell. We're real, and we want to make sure that you guys have the best experience possible. And I was telling our streamers that, and we're not going to point, again, we're not going to name any orgs or anything like that, but there's a lot of orgs out here who are not being true to their roots. And if you're an online community is built off of content. People love their memes, they love their shit that's on the line online. And we want to make sure that we do not forget our roots either. And that's not like us. We're content creators at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. So we want to make sure that the content creators that are streaming or making content under us are like brought to their fullest potential, the best that we can do for them. And we want to make sure that you guys that are under us get the recognition that you deserve. Mm-hmm. Man, okay, so again, I kind of do want to talk about the content creation real quick, because the content creators kind of goes hand in hand with, can you open this? It kind of goes hand in hand with our like future goals. So like, I think I was telling you guys before that we want to be like a multifaceted company. So that means that we want to be doing things that is more than just what meets the eye. We want to make sure that the people that are around us are making awesome content and that they're proud to be a part of our brand. We want to give you guys a cool apparel thing. If I'm not working on IES 2019 or with our streamers, I'm working on apparel because I want to make sure that our brand is like the best that it can be. And so yeah, a lot of our content creators are like, they're models or whatever. So I want to make sure to get them in good garbs and shit. But that's that with content creation. What else with like the company are we trying to do?
Well, right now we're just looking to, obviously throw the events, and then after the events, once we start getting some decent income coming in, we look to pick up some esport teams.
Ah, yes.
Whether that be obviously we're looking at Call of Duty because that's kind of what our start was. Call of Duty, CS:GO.
Yeah, that's the other thing. We don't want to just be one video game.
Yeah, we're thinking, large scale stuff. Obviously we're not thinking about these, like just a little Twitter organization that just created a Twitter account and tried to pick up Call of Duty team, where we're going to be much more than that.
And we're using the 2019 year to scout heavy.
Yeah,
we're doing the event. We want to do more than one, but we're focused on one for now. But we're going to be traveling and looking at other Call of Duty players, the ones that actually put in the work and go to LAN events. And eventually we do want to sponsor a team. And we want to put the Ishoni colors, whatever the fucking colors are now, I haven't decided. But we want to garb you guys in colors and go out and compete in all of the big, esports teams and events like that. And that's what we want to do because we want to be like fully integrated in the esports community. Like we don't want to just be the one esports org that's trash. Like we want to be like, you guys want to see Ishoni, I don't know if you guys said, but Ishoni in Japanese means together. So like we want all this shit to be like in sync and in harmony, like all that kumbaya shit. Like that's what we're trying to be like.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So we should like talk about like other things other than business, right? What else is going on? It's fucking all right. So I want to tell you guys real quick, and if you guys don't care about this shit, you can like tune off or whatever. But now it's just like us being real. I fucking watched this Albert Einstein documentary today. It was an hour and a half long.
Mm-hmm.
if you guys haven't looked up Albert Einstein, like this guy's his legacy, it's fucking wild. First of all, he was a Jew, and he lived in Germany before World War One, and he like worked at this place where he did like patents for like technology and shit for Switzerland, because he moved to Switzerland. He revoked his German citizenship so he wouldn't be drafted in wars. So he went to Switzerland, and then that's where he like really just like this. All right, think about just like as a hobby, all you like to do is like do math equations. So you like you're at work and you're just doing math equations, and that's all you think about. You just love like trying to figure shit out.
Yeah.
I'm going to fast forward and not talk about his whole background, but the main thing is like this guy had the concept of gravity, and he's like, how does gravity work? This guy, the way he did it, dude, is like he's like the way that light travels, it bends around objects in space and it's like, why does it do that? He was like, because gravity itself is actually space, like the space in space. But when it meets an object, it distorts around the object and it forces things to come down. And the way that he measured this is that the light that travels around the sun from stars is bent. And he asked like people to take pictures of the solar eclipse, to take pictures of that and to measure the way that stars move around the sun. Who fucking thinks of that? Like today we have your Elon Musk, and we have your people that are like crazy engineers, but like you don't hear someone that's just thinking of like
yeah.
And actually about Elon Musk, he was talking about, and I don't know what you think about this, but fucking artificial intelligence. He was saying that it's like the most dangerous shit ever, like more dangerous than like nuclear warheads. Because he was saying like, he was saying how like there's this game in Japanese called Go, and they had made like a computer like program or whatever that can like play like the best players, and it literally beat like the best player, like, and then it beat like 100 players at once simultaneously. And it learns. It's like all you have to do is give AI a list of rules, and it fucking like can like, as long as it's in the confines of those rules, can do whatever and beat anybody.
Right.
And it's crazy because he was saying, and what I was thinking is like, well, all AI has to do is think of a way to find loopholes, because just like we have like contracts and we have like anything else regarding like any kind of way to get out of something. I feel like a computer is like the best way to fucking get out of that shit. So that shit was just, I don't know, it was just fucking crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's like, have you seen these robots that are like doing flips and shit now?
Flipping robots?
Yeah, like they're just running around. They're just in a factory, just having a good time. They're probably there right now.
How do you even like come across this?
It was on Twitter one day. These robots were just doing flips.
Speaking of Twitter, there's this. Okay, first of all, China is like making a lot of money.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. They do it in Russia too.
There's this fad in China right now where people like lay outside of their cars.
Yeah,
and then do you know what I'm talking about, Erica? They act like they fell out of their car.
Yeah.
And there are luxurious items like around them, and they fucking like they show off their wealth that way, and it's like, I know why. It's because for the longest time China had that one kid rule.
Yeah.
And they all make so much money, so like their kid like makes all the money. And I knew Chinese kids from abroad, and all of them are fucking like loaded.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we just watched fucking that movie Crazy Rich Asians.
You guys watched that in theaters?
Yeah.
Did you like it, Erica? 10 out of 10?
It was alright. You know, they just made it into a little love story. But yeah, I thought it was a decent movie.
I just don't. The thing with movies nowadays, I'm just like, someone was telling me about how like they've seen every movie, and like they watch movies like TV shows, and I don't know if it's just me, but like I watch movies on like occasion.
Yeah.
Like if it's something that I'm like looking forward to, I'll like find it, and like I like really want to see it, and I'm like anticipating to see it. Some people like literally go to the movies. Like I have a coworker at work that literally goes to the movies like every weekend.
That's it's like a big like, or at least I don't know how much it is now, but it used to be like a big like family thing. Like families would literally just go to the movies just to do it. Like,
and now I think it's diluted, and I think it has a way. And I'll make a separate video about this later. But like how just the way that we are consuming content now is just so quick.
Yeah,
it's so quick. You're like something's on Netflix. Netflix fucking owns the industry, and they don't even have to make good content anymore. And it's funny because I think that if Netflix didn't make as much content, it wouldn't be as relevant. I say make, but to license, because they don't make shit. They just license everything. But like people watch TV shows and they binge it like right away. I remember when I was younger, and you probably can attest to this. You were watching episodes of shit weekly, and you would be rewatching maybe the same episode every week of whatever it was.
Yeah, because it used to be like, well, I don't know if it's still like this on TV or not, but it's like they would show the new episode, and then they would pretty much just show that episode like the rest of the week until the next one came on.
Fucking
or
SpongeBob.
like there'd be like days, or it's like if you missed the new episode, they would show the new episode the next week right before the next new episode.
Yeah.
And then we were talking about this the other day, like there was times like in Nickelodeon, like, or even like Disney and all those other channels, cartoon channels, where it's like you wouldn't even know when a new episode was coming, like, because it wasn't like consistent for some shows. It wasn't like they would just pop up with it, like, oh,
right.
Okay, this week you're gonna have a new episode. It's like, oh, okay.
And it's funny because now I'm thinking about it. It was like really hype, right?
Yeah.
When Nickelodeon would talk about a new episode coming out.
Yeah, it was literally like an album rollout.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
They'd be like, okay, 2 weeks from now, new episode or whatever, or like season finale, but you thought the season was over like 2 months ago.
Speaking of fucking album rollouts, this year has been crazy for albums.
Yeah.
I think. And actually, I've been seeing like a lot of collab albums. Like you heard me playing the Future and Juice WRLD shit.
Yeah, I heard that one.
People are like, I think the collabs are becoming way more of a thing now. Like there's no more like big industry beefs to where people are like...
Yeah, it's because everyone's literally best friends now. It's weird.
It's the same thing that you were saying with like Call of Duty. Like back in the day, teams were like fucking what?
Yeah, they were just back in the day. Like everyone would be going at it and everything, but now everyone's like want to be like friends and collaborate. I don't know if friends is the right word, but they definitely want to be more like collaborative.
I think because they know that when you make some sort of content with somebody else, it's only a win-win scenario.
You're combining
your two audiences. So there's literally no reason to fight someone unless fighting someone is the only way to gain notoriety, like a Kanye West.
How do you feel about Mr. Nadeshot partnering up with the Six God?
The thing is, I don't know if you guys realize this about the esports industry, because it's got this stigma of being a part of the young generation and being a booming industry, and it's a sour dichotomy, because people that see it are like, it's kind of like the same thing with Bitcoin. It's like Bitcoin was such a new thing and it's unregulated and all these things, so people don't want to invest in it. Esports is a little more advanced than Bitcoin because it's been proven, it has a solid marketing thing, it's a solid industry at this point, but it's still run by the young people at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So in regards to Drake, honestly, Drake is one of the pioneers of all like entertainment. Mm-hmm. He made that one song MIA about Spanish. He's like singing in Spanish and shit. Mm-hmm. The Spanish community loves that shit, and they're like raving.
It's like number 4 or 5 on the Billboard charts right now, the world charts.
Yeah, and Drake making this move with 100 Thieves is honestly is a no-brainer. Like, what does he have to lose? Literally nothing. He has nothing. And the thing on Nadeshot too is that I think the thing with Nadeshot is that he's taken the best out of what he's been received, and he's always maximized the potential in which he's given, in the confines of who he is as a person. And what I mean by that is that not a lot of people know how to totally capitalize on the opportunities that are given to them. Mm-hmm. And Nadeshot definitely is somebody that knows how to do that, and so is Drake. And so we'll see. I mean, and honestly, what the 100 Thieves are like the favorites to like do well this year? Is that you would know better than I?
Well, in Call of Duty,
in COD, yeah.
Yeah, they got a pretty strong team, and then obviously they have a very good League of Legends team in the franchise league, so they're going to be a permanent stay there.
And in the business point of view too, like him partnering with Drake is a no-brainer. But then they were also like featured in like the Call of Duty like promo ad or something like that, like the team itself. Mm-hmm. And that's another thing. Like that's another prime example of Nadeshot totally capitalizing on that shit.
Yeah.
And so it's like you look at the other orgs, like what are you doing? Like you think about, I'm not going to talk again, name no names, but you would think some orgs who have been around the block per se would have known how to totally capitalize on their marketing brand 100%. And then I think Nadeshot is definitely a person to definitely elevate it out of the trenches, just kind of like Ninja as well. Mm-hmm. I think Ninja did a great job. I remember when we were sitting here on this very couch watching, you were texting me, I was taking a shit, and you were like, yo, fucking Ninja is streaming with Drake.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I know. And the thing is, like, I knew. Like, I'm on Twitter too, so my friend Chandler in North Carolina, I love you, Chant, fucking's like, yo, LMAO, Ninja is streaming with Drake. So I look at that shit, and I'm over here on the fucking John watching Ninja stream with Drake.
Yeah.
And then I come out here, and we're just watching them fucking play Fortnite with Travis Scott. And I'm just like, man, I think that's kind of like where it kind of like tipped. Like Ninja was big before then, but for the people who are not in the fucking scene,
Yeah.
right? And then not only that, after that, he totally made like that tour or whatever, and he's just
Yeah. But yeah, to go along with that, did you see? Well, you probably didn't see, but today Nadeshot posted a picture of like these custom made like 100 Thieves rigs that they made for Drake's tour.
What do you mean rigs?
Like it was like just a TV screen, like a little stand underneath with like consoles, and they had like Fortnite all like there was like 5 of them lined up just like for backstage. It's crazy. And then Nadeshot was saying how they're gonna be, once Drake's done with the tour, they're gonna be sent back to 100 Thieves, and they'll be permanently in the 100 Thieves facility once they get that. But yeah, I mean, you're saying Nadeshot has taken advantage of his opportunities. He definitely has. But 100 Thieves has come over some scrutiny in recent months, just because they're kind of having growing pains. Not growing pains in terms of like success, but like they made some changes to their League of Legends roster, and they got scrutinized because they're not very open. They weren't very open with the community, which is obviously the esports community is a very like open community, a very transparent community, I guess you could say, where pretty much the fans know most things that goes on, and so they were very little shady about the moves that had happened and why they happened. So yeah, it's just
100 Thieves? What move?
They just change their League of Legends team.
Oh.
Yeah. But yeah. They're still doing good, so I look forward to.
I think my main thing about this whole industry is that there is nobody with an iron fist. Like there's no one that can just, literally the biggest iron fist in the scene is MLG. And even they, and actually the power, if you want to talk about strictly Call of Duty, the power is with Activision. And and obviously they have as much say as anyone. But I guess at this point they've been pretty lax about it. But if they wanted to, they can be an Apple and fuck up your application that you want to put onto the thing. So we're doing the LAN. And if Activision wanted to be like, you can't do that shit, we couldn't do it. we couldn't do it. And Activision's been pretty chill about that. And I think that's kind of the way that work in like livelihood is kind of changing now, because businesses, big corporations always had some sort of influence on everything.
Yeah.
And now we're able to kind of, if we wanted to jump into the esports industry, we technically did. We may not have a huge following. Some kid fucking was like, you guys don't have a huge following, you can't do an OLT, like all this shit. Like, first of all, Like, who are you? And then second of all, yes, we can.
He had like 20 followers.
And people feel like they can vocate their opinion, but the crazy thing is that he can vocate an opinion because he's able to do that because of the way this industry is. It leaves the door open for any type of vocal opinion. Anything based around online presence is able to, like, you know, you're able to, like, kind of say something and almost be relevant. People stretch and reach to be relevant. You know,
the big thing is Reddit in the esports community. That each esport has its own, like, subreddit, and they just go crazy on there about whatever it is, like, because obviously everyone knows, I'm sure if you're watching this, how opinionated everyone on Reddit is.
Strongly opinionated.
Yeah, so
man,
that's the big thing. And then, you know, I've seen a lot of like Call of Duty pros at least, that are like, they don't even go on there anymore because it's literally just hate comments. Like,
it's like a razor blade.
Yeah. And it's not so much like the Call of Duty community as a whole is a lot more active on Twitter and social media than the other like esport communities. Like, even in terms of like pro teams tweeting out and asking for like team scrims. The like the CS:GO community, for example, they have like each other's personal messages and everything, then they just reach out to each other that way. Like, you never even know when they're practicing. And they practice like it's a full-time job, like 9 to 5 basically. And so in the Call of Duty thing, they play from like 7 o'clock at night to like 4 a.m. And so it's just, Call of Duty is a lot more based online, so there's a lot more opinions in that, I feel.
Yeah, for sure. And people want their opinion to be vocalized, and not only that, I think a lot of the times, and I think about like First Take, for instance, people like to just rebuke for the sake of rebuting, and then they will put out a devil's advocate response just to sake to do it, to have, because you know some people are going to pick up that response, and the reason why, and the fact that it's just different than the norm, people are going to fucking flex with it and call it their own, and that goes in sync with the online community in general. You always got to pick a side. You want to talk about politics, it's the same shit. You want to be Republican or Democrat, or you want to be a part of some sort of online community or be against it, or you want to be a local or you want to be a non-local. Like, all this shit's black and blue, and it's just like, why can't people fucking formulate their own opinions? Yeah. That's my whole thing about this whole online bullshit. Right. And honestly, like, before it all like kind of came spiraling down, I think we were talking about when the internet kind of to be relevant, when people couldn't, like, you know, say the N word like they used to or whatever. And honestly, I've never been an advocate for that, but it's just for an example. You know, people always had to have some sort of like independence of shit. And now you can't do this or you can't do that, or you can't be this or you can't be that. And if you are this or you are that, you are classified in a certain type of category. You are categorized. And that shit is like, well, if that's the case, then what is your own personality? If you had to say who you are, do you check a box? Right. You know what I mean?
And to go along with that, everyone is so sensitive these days. It's like everyone wants to act like they don't care about anything, but they're literally so, like, the littlest thing like just sets people off, and they just get so like offended and upset like at everything. Like, you have to literally watch what you say in every situation. Like you almost can't say, like, when you refer to a group and say, hey guys, you almost can't say that anymore. Right. Like, you literally have to, like,
God, that's crazy. Yeah. That's crazy. Imagine having to walk on eggshells when you're breathing. Yeah. Literally the case. And I've been that type of guy now too, where it's like I have to, like, wherever I am, I used to just go off the rails. If I wanted to say something, shit, I'm gonna fucking say it. But now, if I'm around anybody, I have to think about every little thing I say. Of course, you should always think about what you say, you know, in all fairness, but it shouldn't be to the point where you feel like, man, if I say this thing, I'm going to fucking hurt that person's feelings. Probably, but I don't know, but maybe, but I could do it if I... And before you know it, you're having an inner monologue, and this person's just standing there waiting on a response. Right. And at the end of the day, it's all bullshit. But I just think that you should definitely, if you're watching this, just be your own person and take the good with the bad. definitely don't step on people's toes, but definitely try to be your own person and formulate your own opinions. Like that's like
Sure.
That's not my main thing. So.
We've talked about esports. We talked about music a little bit. How about regular sports, huh? Chris Paul, bad teammate. Huh?
Yo, fucking Rajon Rondo said that Chris Paul is a bad. First of all, were you ever on a team with Chris Paul? So how would you know?
I would just know.
I say things about Chris Paul, like I hear things about Chris Paul, and I hear that he is a bad team. That's what I hear.
Which is weird because he's such like a nice guy.
Well, I mean, someone outside of work and someone inside of work could be two different.
That's true.
And then Chris Paul,
Like we were just talking about the.
exactly.
Yeah.
And Chris Paul is like, All right, here's the thing about Chris Paul. Chris Paul knows that he's good.
Yeah.
He knows that he's good. He's a 6'1" point guard. He knows he's the most intelligent guy on the court in terms of basketball IQ. And you know people that like that are good in their field always feel like they have to exert their opinions. Mm-hmm. And you know Chris Paul's like that. And it also makes me think about like LeBron James. Because LeBron changes the literal mock-up, the literal structure of every single team he's ever been on. It literally revolves around him. It's like he's the sun. And you know Chris Paul is like a mini version of that.
Yeah.
Fucking Rajon Rondo went up to him and be like, in an argument they had in the past, he was like, that's why you're never going to win any rings. And that's why I heard that's why they popped off.
Yeah. Well, Chris Paul said that Rajon Rondo spit in his face, and then Chris Paul called him a turtle. Which, out of all the things, not even out of all the things, but out of all the animals, like if you have to call him an animal,
Wait. I'm thinking about a turtle now, and that nigga look just like Rondo. Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
How do you just think, like, I guess he was just looking at him really hard. Like, he spit in his face. Because, you know, when someone does something like that, you're really caught off guard. So he's just looking at him like this. He's just like, and he's like, yeah, you look like a turtle.
Imagine just someone calling you a fucking turtle, but like they're calling you that with a straight face.
See, I would be so caught off guard. I wouldn't be able to swing. Like, I wouldn't, like.
I would be like doing that numbers meme where you're like.
Yeah. Rondo was just like, wait. And then he just popped off.
Jesus Christ. No, but the NBA so far has definitely been interesting.
Yeah, the fucking Lakers 0-3. Jesus Christ.
LeBron's first time doing that since he was a rookie. That's what he said in his interview.
He's not ready for prime
I know
time.
he's fucking like, damn, this was a mistake.
Can I go back?
If you think about LeBron, I think that the thing that I like about LeBron a lot is that he's adjusted with the times every single time he's had to adjust. So now he's incorporated the fadeaway jump shot, which is definitely something that he can utilize where he's there underneath the 3-point arc. But man, it's just so hard when you watch this Warriors team.
Yeah.
And I think about it a lot. Like, the NBA is the biggest and the most notorious basketball league in the world. And you have a team like the Warriors who literally just run the fucking table with the long range shots. Like, that's, and I watch it too. They literally just have play set up to get Clay and Steph open off the dribble. And it's wild because no other team will be able to match that energy.
Yeah, definitely not the Lakers now. I mean, they don't,
Kyle Kuzma's a boss, but you guys are literally going to have to wait until the Warriors break up or someone's going to get injured.
Yeah, and the big thing was everyone was talking about how LeBron, the past how many ever years, has just coasted to the finals because he's in the East. And you already see Trailblazers, Rockets, San Antonio. You're already feeling the pressure of the West. I mean, those are 3 playoff teams.
And they did play some crazy teams in the first 3 games. But granted to LeBron, though, he has stayed in these games. I think he lost to San An by 1, and then he lost to Rockers by an OT, and then he lost to what was the other team?
The Trailblazers and the Rockets.
By a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's...
The games, I mean, and at the end of the day, the Lakers are still a young team.
Yeah.
This is only a lot of their second season, so...
But if you're LeBron, you got to think that you're old. You're not old, like, but you're not going to be able to withstand this type of energy for a long. Eventually, you're going to fall off the cliff.
And he did. Well, I was surprised. He did say he wanted to play more minutes like this year, which is crazy because, I mean, you're fucking how old is he? Almost 40, 30.
LeBron?
Yeah.
No, he's like 33.
I thought he's older.
33, 34. He's not 35. But the thing is, in basketball years,
Yeah.
That's getting there. And LeBron hasn't been injured, and eventually his time's going to come where something's going to happen where. But all granted to LeBron and everything, man, if he was in another era, like if he was in like Oscar Robertson's era or fucking Bill Russell, LeBron would be fucking a god. And people say he's a god now, and I think LeBron's a great guy. He's a great dad. He's a great philanthropist, and and all these things. But man, you just have the Warriors around the corner. Like,
yeah, that's tough. That's tough for like even people like Damian Lillard.
What is it? 32 teams, or is it 30?
30 teams.
30 teams, and one team just runs the table.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant joining the Warriors is like I remember when I was just chilling and I saw that shit on a Snapchat story. Because I was thinking, okay, Kevin Durant's going to go to Washington because he's like from there.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, he's going to go there and do that shit. But then it says Kevin Durant joins the Warriors, and I was just like, this is a prank.
Yeah. That's crazy.
That's just like I just couldn't believe it, but it's just a sad thing for the NBA, and in regards to the NFL, I think the NFL is wide open.
Yeah, everyone is either really good or really bad. It's a weird season, or teams that you think are really good are actually bad. It's like a weird thing.
I think the funniest case ever is like the Saints.
Yeah,
because they lost, I think last Sunday, right? Or did they win?
I think they still only have one loss.
I think the thing about the Saints, and I bring up the Saints up because Drew Brees is a phenomenal quarterback. He does not get the credit he deserves. And if anyone ever says like a top 3 quarterback, Drew Brees is there. You have Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, and Drew Brees.
Yeah, undebatable.
Undebatable. And the thing is, though, they don't win. They don't win. So you're thinking about what you need to be a great team, and you have all these pieces, but you don't win. And the thing about the Green Bay Packers is that the Green Bay Packers is not synonymous with winning. The Green Bay Packers is synonymous with Aaron Rodgers. And if Aaron Rodgers is not on the field, the Green Bay Packers do not win.
Yeah.
And the thing about the Patriots is that the Patriots are synonymous with winning. Tom Brady is going to play. And Bill Belichick is going to coach. And as long as those two things are there, they're going to win games.
Yeah.
But now this year you have random things happening, like the LA Rams, like the LA Rams going to fucking probably be in the NFC Championship. And it's like, when is the last time we could say that with confidence? Like, and then you have teams like, who's the other team that's fucking crazy? The Chiefs.
But the Chiefs I expect to fall off. They always do.
Mahomes?
No,
because of Andy Reid.
They just always start fast and finish.
Well, I think about it like Andy Reid. I think about it like Andy Reid was at the Eagles, and he had Donovan McNabb. And they had a great team over there with the Eagles, and they made it to the Super Bowl, I think, once, lost to the Pats. And the thing about Andy Reid is that Andy Reid doesn't execute in primetime very well.
Yeah.
He's almost like, and I think about it just now, he's almost like Peyton Manning in the regular season.
Yeah, it's almost like at the beginning of seasons, he pulls out like literally all of his best stuff, and then by week 8, 9, 10, people are ready for you. Like, they've been watching your stuff all season, and he doesn't have much to like switch up and try and do new stuff. Like the Saints, for example, they're a really good regular season team because they're constantly switching stuff up. They just can't figure out how to win the playoffs.
Yeah,
but.
And I think the thing with Andy Reid too is that the difference about this time around is that they have some fucking weapons.
Yeah, that's true.
Tyreek Hill and fucking Travis Kelce and Kareem Hunt. Like, these guys are the truth. Like, they are the truth of the NFL. And I think that if they do well, and I'm a Broncos fan, so it hurts me hard. It hurts me hard to say it, but luckily the Chargers. I don't know why people believe in the Chargers so fucking much. I don't understand why people think that Phillip Rivers is good. He is not good. Phillip Rivers is not good. I don't know why. I'm not even going to get into that. But anyway, I just think that as a Broncos fan, the Chiefs will go on to probably the AFC Championship and lose. I don't think they're going to Super Bowl. But I think this year it's going to be... man, it's hard. But I just think the Patriots are just going to do it again.
I don't know. They haven't looked great this year.
But I just hate like the Bill Belichick and Tom Brady combo.
Yeah.
They just don't. They don't know. They know how to win. But the thing is, though, is that Bill Belichick and Tom Brady do have that bad blood right now with everything. So
we'll see. I mean, but I think the NFC honestly is kind of open right now. I mean, the Rams are like obviously doing their thing, but I don't know if they'll keep it up.
The thing about the Rams is that the Rams is a consistent team. They run hard and they play hard, and they're a traditional NFL team.
I got Todd Gurley on my fantasy team. He scored at least like 25
crazy points.
Yeah, like every week at least 25. It's like it's bad. It's crazy.
That's easy money.
And yeah, so obviously I'm a Panthers fan, so
Cam,
we're gonna make the playoffs at the wild card spot.
Definitely over the Buccaneers and fucking
the Falcons.
Yeah,
we're gonna be the first wild card. We're gonna host the wild card game in Charlotte, and we're gonna win that. Then we're probably gonna play either the Saints again or the Actually, if we're a wild card, we won't host the wild card because it's not the fucking MLB. We're gonna play in the wild card round. We're probably gonna win that. Then play the Saints or the Rams, depending on how our record turns out, and then we'll lose that game, and then that'll be that again.
So last thing. So who do you think is gonna win in the World Series?
The Red Sox
over the Dodgers.
Yeah, it's gonna be like a 4-game sweep, maybe 5 games.
What? Why?
Yeah, because the Dodgers aren't like that good compared.
They just happen to make it there.
They're not that good compared to the Red Sox.
The Boston has definitely been dominant this year.
Yeah, so the Red Sox are. I mean, they proved it last night. They washed them. So same thing's gonna happen tonight. Then the Dodgers might be like a little hype coming back home, so they might win. Is it 3? I think it's 3-4. So they might be too late by the time they even get back to LA. To be honest, but we'll see.
Well, other than that, man, let's go ahead and wrap it up. It's been pretty, I guess, long enough. But thank you guys for tuning in to the first podcast. Don, get in the screen so they can appreciate you. Do you want do the outro? Do the outro.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning into the first episode. This is gonna be a weekly thing. At least hopefully, we're definitely gonna try to do it weekly. We got rid of our Wednesday requirement, so this is gonna be Wednesday night's gonna be podcast night from now on, I believe. And yeah, so look for this every Thursday. We're gonna post it on YouTube, probably fucking iTunes, maybe throw it on SoundCloud.
I would love for it to be on Spotify. We're gonna look up the legality on that.
Throw it everywhere, and get some views and build some quality notoriety.
But follow us on Instagram. I mean, on Instagram. We do have Instagram actually. But Instagram is the Ishoni company. But Twitter at Ishoni Esports. Check out our streamers, Topaz Girl and Anonymous. They make awesome content. And follow us on whatever else we fucking do. But other than that, thank you guys for watching. You can do the rest of it.
And we'll see you next week, same time, maybe, probably, I don't know. All right, adios.
A good time.